Good morning and welcome to Take Your Life Back. Today's show with me, Ralf Friedrichs. Today I'm going to do a Q&A. These are questions that have been adding up day after day, week after week, month after month, and I finally put them together. The first section is from our younger aged audience that have issues with possibly watching their parents drinking and drugging all day. And they're concerned, so they had questions and I have the answers. And then of course we're going to also continue on the question and answers. I have approximately maybe about 30 of them here, so we'll go through them and hopefully you find them very informative. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Larry Geis from the Geis Academy at 516-485-2741. That's 516-485-2741. Larry is an addiction recovery coach, as am I. He will take you from your addiction to your recovery step by step, one day at a time. He will never ever talk about your past. It is more important for him to worry about you today and tomorrow and work on next week and the week after. Talking about your past will possibly just bring up a stressor or a trigger. We don't want to do that. Larry Geis from the Geis Academy, 516-485-2741. You can also go and find him on the internet at www.odysseyconsultant.org. That's www.odysseyconsultant.org. That's Larry Geis from the Geis Academy at 516-485-2741. Give a shout out to globaleyeglasses.com. They are focused on saving you money. Folks, they have now Jumpstart, the new program, which is allowing you, that's right, you to try your frames on at home. You can order 4 frames. Have them sent to your home. Try them on. Show them to your friends. Show them to your neighbors. Look in the mirror to see what the frame looks like. If you don't like them, send them back for a 100% refund. If you do like them, great. Now, when they ship the frames to you, there's going to be a printed return label, not a postage. This is a return label with the address where to send the frames. You need to absorb the postage, but in the continental United States, postage usually from state to state varies anywhere from $2.50 to maybe $4 and something. Wasn't that worth getting to try those frames on? So order those frames. When you click on the frame on their website, it'll say home trial. Click on that button, get the frame, have it sent to your home. Try them, show them to people, show them to your friends, to your neighbors, and pick the one you like. Keep that one, send the other ones back, and we are going to welcome that brand new program into the online optical field. globaleyeglasses.com, where they are focused on saving you money. Folks, I have over 30 years in the optometry business. You can, as about 110, 115 people of you so far, including last night, 2 more, have reached out and said, Ralph, I need help picking the right frame, or Ralph, I need help picking the right lenses. Well, that's what I am here for. Get in touch with me at 631-599-0218, 631-599-0218, or you can email me at Ralf, R-A-L-F, Friedrichs, F-R-I-E-D-R-I-C-H-S, at yahoo.com. Folks, let's go right into the question and answer. Questions and answers about addiction from our younger audience. The first question is, what is alcoholism? Well, let me explain to you what alcoholism is. Alcoholism is a disease. People who have the disease have lost control over their drinking and are not able to stop drinking without getting help. They also lose control of how they act when they drink and the actions that they perform. That is alcoholism. It is a disease. I don't think any person chooses to drink to a point where they can't remember things, to where they act like a fool. So, when you look at an alcoholic, when you meet an alcoholic and they're seeking help, don't judge them as you would a person, a criminal or something. They have a disease, they need help, just like cancer is disease, all these other diseases that are out there. Alcoholism is a disease and it needs to be taken care of. Another question came from another youngster. Well, how does alcoholism start? Well, doctors don't know all the reasons why people become alcoholics. Some start out drinking a little bit and end up hooked on alcohol. A person might drink to forget problems or calm their nerves. But then They end up needing alcohol to feel normal because their immune is built up tremendously. Once a person loses control over drinking, he or she needs to get help to stop drinking. Another question was, if an alcoholic is sick, why doesn't he or she just go to the hospital? Good question. At first, the alcoholic is not aware that he or she is sick. Even when an alcoholic becomes aware that something is wrong, he or she might believe that alcohol is not the problem. An alcoholic might keep blaming things on the other people, or might blame their job or the house or whatever. But really, it's the alcohol that is the biggest problem. I hope that answered your question. Another question came in, is there an average alcoholic? Answer to that is no. There is no such person of an average or like an average alcoholic. Alcoholics can be young, old, rich, poor, male, female, doesn't matter. Next question is, what is the cure for alcoholism? There is no cure for alcoholism except stopping the disease process by stopping to drink. People with alcoholism who have completely stopped drinking are called recovering alcoholics, which I am. Recovering alcoholics can lead to healthy, happy, productive lives. Next question is, can family members make an alcoholic stop drinking? Absolutely not. It is important to know that an alcoholic needs to help to stop drinking. But no one can be forced to accept the help no matter how hard you try to get them to stop. It is also important to know that family members by themselves cannot provide the help that an alcoholic needs. An alcoholic needs the help of people trained to treat the disease, and also an alcoholic needs to want to stop to drink. Next question. How many children in the United States have at least one alcoholic parent? About 11 million children in our country are growing up with at least one alcoholic parent. There are probably a few in your class right now, wherever you might be sitting. And remember, some adults grew up with alcoholic parents too. It's the chain of events. If you're watching and you have a parent that's an alcoholic, break that chain. Cut that chain. Separate those links. Do not continue on the same path. Next question is, I know I can't make my alcoholic parent stop drinking, so what can I do to make myself feel better? Well, the first thing you want to do is not, and I repeat, you don't want to continue doing what they're doing, what their parents did. Talk to someone you trust about the problem. Talk to a teacher, a scout leader, a coach, a school counselor. Also, there's a group for kids who have alcoholic parents called Alateen. Alateen has meetings like a club, and the kids share tips on how to make life easier. You can look for a phone number of Alateen in the phone book, or call the directory assistant for the number of Alateen. That's ALATEEN. That's ALATEEN. Someone at Al-Anon or Alcoholics Anonymous can answer the line, can probably tell you how to find the meetings and where to go to them. Those questions came from our younger audience. Now, these questions come from everybody in my audience that has sent them in. Drugs, alcohol, and behavioral problems, question and answers is the subject. Question number one is, do people who are addicted to drugs just have poor willpower? Well, drug addiction is not a choice but a disease, folks. Taking a drug the first time or a few times may involve conscious decision, but the drug eventually creates changes in the mind and body of the addict that will affect his or her ability to resist. The psychological desire and the physical craving for the substance eventually overrides the person's self-control. Next question. If someone goes through treatment and relapses, is getting additional treatment a lost cause? Good question out there. Addiction is a chronic disease. Recovery is an ongoing process that involves daily management of that disease. Neither relapses nor multiple episodes of treatment are uncommon. Relapsing does not mean that the addict cannot achieve the lasting recovery. It just has an indication that the treatment needs to be managed more closely. Perhaps a different type of treatment or additional therapy needs to be implemented. As long as the individual is willing and ready to work towards substance-free life, there is hope for a long-term recovery. Next question. Does the brain go back to normal after the addict stops taking drugs? Good question again. Drug-induced changes in the structure and the function of the brain may be long-lasting. The degree of damage to the brain and the potential for that damage to be reversed depends on the specific drug or drugs that the individual has taken prior. In general, the longer a person has abused drugs and alcohol, the more the drug and alcohol altered their brain. It's also possible that persistent alteration in the brain is a factor in relapse that happen after a lengthy period of abstinence. Although ongoing treatment for chemical dependency may not reverse all the physical effects of using the drug, many positive changes are likely to happen. Next question. How long does treatment process last? According to research studies, 3 months is the minimum duration for most substance abusers to stop or at least to substantially reduce drug and alcohol abuse. Treatment success does, however, depend on many factors unique to each and every individual. These factors include length of time the individual has been abusing drugs and alcohol, type of drugs that they have abused, existence of mental health issues, existence of physical health issues, available support system, use of multiple different substances. The individual's level of motivation to achieve long-term recovery is very critical. Next question, if I go into treatment, will I have to participate in group sessions? I do realize, folks, that a lot of you are not comfortable speaking in front of people, just like I wasn't comfortable speaking in front of a camera a few years ago when I started doing these videos. But I will tell you, the more you do, the better you get at it. Group counseling sessions may or may not be part of the specific treatment program. If group therapy is offered, it may be either mandatory or optional. Group sessions can be instrumental in achieving recovery more quickly and often beneficial for maintaining your sobriety. One advantage is the opportunity to interact with people who are experiencing similar challenges like you. They can offer camaraderie, support, perspective, and helpful tips for handling obstacles. Next questions. How bad are our withdrawal symptoms when you stop taking drugs? Another very good question, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you sending these questions in. Withdrawal is more difficult with some drugs than others. The symptoms can also be more intense for long-time addicts whose brains and bodies have become deeply dependent on drugs. Possible symptoms include depression, restlessness, sleeplessness, anxiety. Medications are often prescribed for individuals going through the withdrawal system, and they can decrease or eliminate many of the typical symptoms. I hope that answered your question. Next question. Why do some substance abuse treatment programs want to do a mental health screening, which I found to be offensive, this person said. Addiction in itself is itself a mental disorder. Often it coexists with some mental illness. To ensure that recommended treatment of substance abuse does not cause another disorder to worsen, many treatment centers recommend or require a mental health assessment. Being aware of the occurring mental health issues is also vitally important when medication will be prescribed, as they may exacerbate an underlying condition. Next question. Once I've gone through detox, am I in recovery? Good question. Recovery from drug and alcohol abuse involves stopping the drug use and ongoing abstinence from the drug itself. Detoxification is the first step, but a lasting recovery usually requires behavior changes beyond merely stopping using drugs and alcohol. Also remember, replacing negative habits with healthy ones is critical. Learning new coping skills for stressful experiences is also critical, and developing new ways of relating to family and friends. That was an excellent question. Next question. How do treatment centers make sure that patients don't use drugs while they're in treatment? That's like the old story, how does an inmate in jail still have access to alcohol and drugs? Same thing applies to treatment center. You would hope that people that check themselves into treatment centers wouldn't be doing that because they're there to get help. Treatment facilities typically do periodic drug testing to make sure patients are not using while in the program. Knowing they will be randomly checked for drug use sometimes is enough to keep substance abusers from relapsing. If the tests show that a patient has used drugs, the staff can quickly address the situation and, if necessary, modify the treatment plan to reduce likelihood of future relapses. Next question, after successfully completing substance abuse treatment program, is the individual cured? Addiction is a chronic disorder. As in the case with other chronic health problems, the goal is long-term successful management of this disorder. Research has shown that a prolonged abstinence from drugs can lead to partial recovery from some of the effects on the body and the brain. However, there are many factors to play in creating the addition and ongoing management of some of those may be necessary for maintaining successful recovery. Next question, how do patients in treatment programs handle continued cravings for their drug of choice? Another good question. Treatment programs involve multiple approaches, many of which are designed to decrease the psychological and physical needs for the substance that was abused. Medications can help the brain wean itself off the drug, create a generalized calming effect on the mind and on the body. Next question, I've heard that I have to give up friends and activities to enjoy if I'm going to stay sober. Is that true? In order to continue to be abstain, it may be necessary to avoid friends, places, and activities that encourage you to abuse drugs and alcohol. As you learn new coping mechanisms and discover activities that improve your self-confidence and promote positive behaviors, your previous lifestyle is likely to become less enticing. Next question, how do I know whether an inpatient or outpatient treatment is the best for me? The nature and the severity of your addiction, your lifestyle and your job situation, your health status, and your level of motivation are some factors that help determine the best type of treatment for your successful recovery. Drug abuse resources include hotlines that help addicts and their families sort through the many issues that will affect your decisions. Next question, what protects some people from becoming drug addicts? People have risk factors that can lead to addiction and protective factors that reduce the risk of becoming substance abuser. Research indicates that genetics are responsible for 40 to 60% of the risk for addiction. Those with mental disorders have a higher risk of abusing drugs and alcohol than general population, as do adolescents. Research indicates that genetics are responsible for 40 to 60% of the risk for addiction. In general, using drugs at the young age can increase the potential for abusing them as they get older. The way drugs are taken has an effect on the likelihood of abuse, as well as injecting or smoking drugs puts them into the user system very quickly. But they wear off almost as fast. That can lead to a desire to take more of the drugs to repeat the high, which often leads to cycle of addiction. Next question. Can I overcome addiction with a group of Alcoholics Anonymous instead of treatment? While some people have had success with self-help group alone, it can be more effective to first seek professional treatment. It's especially important that if there are underlying mental or physical disorders that might complicate the detox and rehab process that need to be addressed. Groups such as AA, Cocaine Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous can, however, be an effective complement to inpatient or outpatient treatment. Next question. Family members have told me I have a drinking problem, but I don't think I do. How can I find out who's right? Well, first of all, it's not a matter of who's right. You are showing patterns possibly that makes your family think this. We all have a thing called denial. So you that asked me this question, family members have told me I have a drinking problem, but I don't think I do. How can I find out who's right? Listen to this answer carefully. A counselor trained in the area of addiction recovery can conduct an assessment to help determine whether you are addicted to alcohol. Together, you and the counselor can decide whether you have an issue that could benefit from the treatment. And I'm telling you this right now. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. What matters most is for you to find out if you are an alcoholic, you seek the right treatment, and you have the desire to get the help that you need. Question: what is the dual diagnosis treatment program? Answer would be these programs involve this simultaneous treatments of mental disorder and addiction. Treating both issues increases the likelihood of successful recovery. Somebody asked me, what is detox? Detox is short for detoxification. It involves removing the substance to which an individual has become addicted. Detox is handled in a controlled environment, and medication may be administered to lessen the side effects of withdrawal. Next question: what part does denial play in addiction treatment? It plays a huge part. As long as the addict is in denial about his or her dependence on the substance abuse or behavior, he or she is unlikely to seek treatment, unlikely to succeed. Denial assures the addict that there is no problem. They, therefore, feel there is no need to take steps to stop using the substance or engaging in the substance and addiction behavior. The first step in getting treatment is moving beyond denial and recognizing the problem is existing in their life. Last question is, what is addiction recovery? Good question. Recovery is a comprehensive term that describes the process of turning away from a focus of obtaining and using substance or engaging in addictive behaviors and turning toward a more balanced and productive life. Recovery does not represent an endpoint. It is an ongoing process that probably will be part of your life forever. Folks, these were excellent questions sent in by our young folks, our young audience at first, and then our general audience. And quite honestly, the second to last question is a very important question, and that is, what part does denial play in addiction treatment? What part does denial play in anything in life, especially if you have a drug and alcohol problem? The wall of denial will keep you from seeking the help that you need. It will continuously make you want to drink, make you want to do your drugs. The minute you let that wall crumble like the Berlin Wall did, like Ronald Reagan said, take that wall down. I am asking you today to let that wall crumble, that denial wall, let it crumble. Seek the help that you need. But first, admit you have a problem. Admit you have a problem. You do have a problem if you need to drink alcohol each and every day, possibly 2 to 5 drinks. You do have a problem if you're snorting crack all day, snorting coke, smoking marijuana. You do have a problem. So stop denying you have a problem. Seek the help that you need. Do it for yourself. Do it for your children. Do it for your spouse, your parents. I am asking you to please give me, that's right, give me your next 24 hours sober, and I promise you, I will give you in return the 24 hours after that a good day. 24 hours sober today will give you next 24 hours a better day. Make the changes that you need to make today. All the changes in life, whether it has anything to do with alcohol and drugs or any changes, all start with very small steps. But all changes that start with small steps, that you continuously take those steps, those changes for the better will show and blossom in your life. Financial changes, relationship changes, physical, mental changes, spiritual changes. Let it all start today. I am begging you not to say, Ralph, okay, I get you, but I want to start tomorrow, because I am telling you as I sit here, there are many people in the world that have used that analogy that didn't have it tomorrow. As you and I sit here, there is someone in the world taking their last breath. closing their eyes for the last time, did they have a chance for change? If you're watching me, and I'm speaking to you, and you're watching me right now, you have the opportunity to break the wall of denial and get the help that you need. But it starts today. Stop prolonging your purpose of change. Start prolonging your life by changing today. 24 hours. Give it to me, please. I'm begging you. I give you these videos. I'm asking you for 24 hours of no drugs and alcohol, and I promise you, you'll have a better day tomorrow. Call me at 844-405-HELP. Call me, text me at 631-599-0218. Get a hold of Larry Geis at the Geis Academy at 516-485-2741. That's 516-485-2741. Go on the internet under www.odysseyconsultant.org. That's Larry Geis from the Geis Academy. Get in touch with us. Give me the 24 hours that I'm asking you of sobriety today, and I promise you I'll give you a better tomorrow. And please teach your children and your grandchildren to say no to drugs and alcohol. And remember this, if you think positive, you'll get positive results. I hope to God that each and every one in my audience has the best day of their life, but more importantly, I hope each and every one in my audience has a sober day for the rest of their life. Thank you, and may God bless.